Earlier this year, I made a feature-length video on my channel exhaustively going over every controversy the YouTuber Dream has been involved in. And to be honest, even after doing all that research, I still don't have a good gauge on who this creator is as a person, or why he is so massively popular. I mean, I get it. He was able to foster a really interesting cast of characters to be involved in his SMP series. But even when he took off the mask, I still couldn't get a glimpse of who this now infamous creator really was like as a human being. What I did find impressive though was his ability to maintain a loyal audience after a dozen controversies surrounding him, but in recent times that appears to have changed. For the first time in his channel's history, Dream is having a month where he is in the negative for subscriber growth, and his views are only a tenth of what they were 3 years ago, with him all but abandoning Minecraft content in exchange for a music career with a lukewarm reception.
And Dream's lackluster vocals become even more apparent when he's dropping one harmonized robot voice on top of one harmonized robot voice. This just sounds like AI-generated sad boy pop.
That's not to say he doesn't have a fan base anymore, but if he doesn't change up his business and PR strategy soon, he might find himself in the same position as the OG Minecrafters of yesteryear, that are sitting on 10 million sub channels yet are only getting a few thousand views per upload in 2023. So what has caused Dream to wind up in the position he's in? And what does he have to do to get out of this rut of needless controversy? He began creating videos in 2014, but first began to garner success in 2020 after creating multiple series that relied on the involvement of several other creators, such as Tommy Innit, Sapnap, Ranboo, and Bad Boy Halo, among others. During this rapid expansion, some members of his fanbase began to criticize him for edgy jokes he had made in his past, along with the numerous other infractions that bordered on absurdity. In one notable instance, he was criticized for performing a war cry during a Minecraft playthrough.
Ah! Light it, go, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up! Viva la resistance, let's go!
This resulted in a small but vocal portion of his audience claiming that his behavior was highly problematic and that he appropriated and mocked Native American culture. At this point, most creators would simply ignore the criticism and focus on creating content, but instead he decided to respond to the backlash directly on Twitter. At first, Dream stood his ground and defended himself, angrily lambasting his critics, and making the argument that his scream had nothing to do with Native Americans, claiming that anyone who was offended was simply being a baby. Unfortunately for him though, his audience did skew on the young side. As a result, Dream would address the situation during a live stream and walked back his defense, profusely apologizing for his actions. He claimed he was referencing SpongeBob and had no intention of offending anyone, finishing off his apology by saying he would use this as a learning experience.
And that I'm sorry to anybody who we offended by doing the war cry yesterday. I just got a donation saying to do a war cry. We did it and had no intention to offend anybody.
This would become a running theme. He would get called out by someone on Twitter, apologize, claim he was now educated, and move on, almost to the point of parody where most of the petty drama would blow up in his face as he fumbled the response. The hidden problem with making these apologies nonstop became apparent soon after. The groveling would only embolden people to dig up more minor infractions, because they knew he would respond, and his incessant backtracking made people unsure if he actually stood for anything at all. He made numerous long-winded threads and twitlongers, almost begging for forgiveness, no matter how small or insignificant the controversy. Due to his status as a Minecraft YouTuber, he also began to accumulate a sizable audience of highly dedicated, impressionable fans, with most of them self-identifying as stans. The term stan is derived from the Eminem song of the same name, and often refers to a group of obsessive fans whose obsession is so great that they form a parasocial attachment to public figures. This isn't unusual for such a large creator, but instead of keeping them at arm's length and establishing boundaries, he decided to feed into their unhealthy attachments. He would constantly defend them when outside observers criticized his pandering, further antagonizing them and creating unnecessary drama. In December 2020, the streamer known as Josh, who was loosely connected to Dream's community, would be one of the first creators to publicly voice his disdain for this approach, saying that the obsessiveness of stan culture has gone too far, even calling them mentally ill. Dream would emphatically defend his audience, justifying their obsession by comparing them to sports fans. He would also go on to create an 8-minute-long video on his second channel, further defending his stance and downplaying the severity of stan culture. Soon after this, he made a tweet where he referred to his audience as kittens, and went so far as to say that he loved them. This was considered extremely problematic by onlookers, but he defended his actions and stated it was just a simple expression, and that anyone who had a problem with his wording was weird. The downside of having a loyal fanbase like this is you now hold some responsibility for what they do, even if it's unfair. And the thought of emboldening this obsessive behavior was nothing less than a recipe for disaster. But he would continue to defend his fanbase from criticism, though this would occasionally backfire and result in him receiving major backlash from those outside his core audience, with their collective hatred of him growing as he became more and more popular. He would also draw the ire of the entire Minecraft community after he cheated during a Minecraft speedrun and then went through the effort of hiring a Harvard astrophysicist to confirm its legitimacy, only for his claims to be debunked by a lengthy document released by some of the most prominent members of the speedrunning community. While he would later apologize and admit to his mistakes, this was a massive hit to his credibility, considering a lot of his stans went after the people who were rightfully calling him out for cheating. However, even with this newfound level of notoriety, most of these incidents would be classified as meaningless internet drama. And considering the fact that Dream continued to gain millions of views and subscribers with each new upload, it's safe to say that they didn't impact his career too much at the time. Yet he would face a slew of new, much more serious allegations of wrongdoing. The stakes of this drama were raised in October of 2022, when Dream was accused of grooming a girl named Anastasia, who accused him of messaging her while she was underage. She claimed that their conversations had become explicit after they began talking over Snapchat, but none of the evidence she provided definitively proved her claims. While she soon privated her account, the news spread like wildfire as the hashtag #DreamIsAFreak began trending. Soon after this, another girl named Amanda accused Dream of sending her sexually explicit content when she was just 17 years of age, stating that their conversations had started innocently on Twitter but became sexually charged after they began talking on Snapchat. While she was able to provide evidence that she had been in contact with Dream in a series of TikTok videos, she had no way of proving the more severe allegations, and Dream soon responded to this by stating that this was completely false and that these supposed victims were hurting the credibility of people who were actually abused. Due to the lack of solid evidence and his denial of the whole thing, the buzz surrounding this incident would die down. But this situation was a serious blow to his already damaged reputation. And on top of that, it was now a meme to try to cancel Dream on Twitter. Fast forward about a year, and these allegations resurfaced after a Twitter user posted a clip of him referring to the incident on a live stream.
First of all, I didn't know she was a minor because she had something about her graduating high school in her bio on Instagram. And on top of that, it doesn't matter that she was a minor.
The post would garner thousands of likes, which prompted Dream to create a twit longer where he once again claimed that she was lying, bringing even more attention to the situation. A Twitter user named Midas made a post mocking the Minecraft YouTuber by contrasting his responses to two separate controversies. Dream would not take this kindly, claiming he was now being unfairly taken out of context and that the person who made this tweet was actually a stalker who had physically shown up at one of his meet and greets. This prompted more exchanges between Dream and his alleged stalker, and as he continued to argue, the controversy surrounding him escalated and became out of control. He also made a joke about the situation in a TikTok video where he opened a package with a Minecraft shirt that said "I love miners" on the front of it. And when you're getting accused of those sort of things, it's probably not a good idea to do that. Everyone who had a predisposed dislike of him due to his prior antics began to come out of the woodwork and accuse him of being a groomer. Dream would continue to defend himself in numerous tweets, again reiterating that the allegations were false, and stating that the original clip of him talking about the situation was being misconstrued. He also made the very apt point that simply talking with a minor is not evidence of anything sinister, but his follow-up to this thread would only make things worse. In this tweet, he degrades himself and brings up all his past controversies in a self-pitying manner that led to people trashing him even further. Instead of making one concise tweet and moving on, he continued to argue with numerous individuals, further muddying the truth. It was at this point that the voice actor Nicholas Cantu, who is best known for voicing the cartoon character Gumball, jumped into the conversation and began to torment Dream. This all started after Cantu replied to a Dream parody account saying that he wanted him dead. This fake account then replied with a joke at the expense of the Minecrafter, which Cantu then quote-tweeted saying, "You can't joke about being a pedo when you're an actual pedo." Dream saw this and took an opportunity to bring up his own problems with the voice actor, claiming that he had assaulted him, berated an Uber driver, and made numerous highly offensive statements that included saying the N-word. Nicholas then responded by further mocking Dream, leading to yet another exchange between the two. In response to all this, Dream then released a video of the encounter he had mentioned before, which showed Nicholas using numerous slurs and acting incredibly erratic, very obviously under the influence of alcohol.
That's what the mask is! I think you're a faggot, alright? So that's why. You're really cool, Dream. I still want to fight you.
However, instead of turning the tides in his favor, this actually did more damage than Dream could have anticipated. Then he responded by asking why he was in the presence of a minor who was intoxicated, accusing him of holding onto the footage to use as blackmail. Not everyone was in Cantu's corner, however, with XQC weighing in on the situation, stating, "This is what we have fostered by caving into outrage, empowering false rumors and engagement baiting. Guy admits to 2 crimes while being insensitive to every group possible, and no one blinks an eye because the bias against the other person is so strong." More allegations of the alleged proof began to surface, with Snapchat videos being released that allegedly showed Dream moaning in a sexually provocative manner, which many believed was definitive proof of his actions. In response to all the backlash, Dream claimed he was in the process of making a video debunking all the allegations against him, going on yet another twit-longer rant about how everyone was out to get him, instead of actually logging off of Twitter and making the video. The YouTuber Quite, who was forced to respond to their own false allegations levied against them earlier this year, responded and made the point that he was only making things worse, and wasting his time by arguing with so many people at once. Soon after, Moist Critical made a video talking about the allegations, noting that there was no definitive proof of wrongdoing. But with that being said, he also mentioned that Dream's past encouragement of parasocial behaviors was irresponsible, and made it easier for people to automatically believe the claims made against him regardless of whether or not they were true.
Dream's audience has always been on the younger side of things, and yet Dream constantly engages with them in very inappropriate ways, such as like posting thirst traps, some of the things he says, like all of that very public and very well documented. I think all of it's very creepy, and I've said that quite a bit in the past. So I think with his history of doing things like that, it makes a lot of the claims have a lot more weight to them because they're much more believable knowing that Dream publicly does encourage his fans to be parasocial.
To make matters even worse, an anonymous account supposedly began spreading fake allegations while posting as a real victim. Their true intentions are unknown, but have played a considerable role in muddying the truth of this situation even further. Since all of this occurred, Dream seems to have taken the criticism to heart and has completely stopped tweeting. It can be assumed that he is currently working on making a proper response to the allegations, but whether he will prove everyone wrong is yet to be seen. Regardless of whether or not the claims made against him are true, it's undeniable that his response thus far has made everything much, much, much worse. And on top of that, it doesn't seem like he has many other creators coming to his defense at this point. And this is where Dream stands now, a giant creator that has alienated large swaths of the online community, yet still wields a fan base of millions. But for some reason, he's only been able to make one single Minecraft video for them in the past 7 months, and that compounded with the most recent controversies led him to finally hit the red in terms of sub growth. When I say Dream is finally losing subscribers, I truly take no glee from that statement. Rather, I'm just amazed that it took this long as he's been embroiled in countless controversies, stopped making the content his audience wants to see, and instead is focusing on a music career that the general public is not responding to. If he wants to save his online career now, he could, but after everything that has happened, I have to wonder if he's capable of making the needed changes to stop the self-implosion.